Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to today's session. So in the Finance 360-degree session, I have brought a special session for all of you because I was getting many queries, many questions I was getting through mails and through the comment section. First of all, how to cover the RBI website. So for all the students that do not have the course or they want to go through the RBI website themselves to check that they are not leaving anything. So I will discuss with you that how you can cover the RBI website that has various components and you can get confused, but we will discuss that how to cover the RBI website in an easy manner. What are the important points that you have to focus on? Okay. Now, next thing is ask us anything. You can understand that here this session is for your queries. It is for your questions. So whatever questions you have in mind regarding the RBI website, regarding the finance current affair, so you can ask those questions in today's session so that you do not have any query that what the Finance 360-degree covers, what type of RBI notifications, RBI press releases are important, which finance current affairs you have to focus on, how many months of finance current affairs or RBI website you have to focus on. So all the questions that you have in your mind, you can ask those, okay? And why the RBI website and finance current affair is so important, because you can see that in the RBI grade B 2024 examination, there were more than 15 questions in the phase 1, as well as from finance current affairs and RBI website, there were questions in phase 2 also, okay? So this is very, very important. So let's get started with this session where we will discuss that how you can cover the RBI website, and then I will take your queries also, okay? So in the starting, see, RBI website is very, very important for the RBI grade A or RBI grade B, because if you are preparing for the RBI, okay, if you want to become an officer in the Reserve Bank of India, you must know that what topics that RBI is focusing on, what are the notifications and press releases RBI is releasing, which areas, which domains RBI is focusing on, and all of this you can know through the RBI notifications, through the RBI press releases, the recent steps that the RBI is taking, and this will be important for your RBI grade A as well as RBI grade B. In the RBI grade B, through the previous year questions, we have seen that the RBI notifications, RBI press releases, that is the RBI website, is very, very important. And in phase 1 of the RBI grade B, there were more than 15 questions. There were more than 15 questions in your phase 1 of the RBI grade B. In the GA section, there were more than 15 questions from the RBI website and finance current affairs, and in the phase 2 also there were multiple questions from the RBI website and finance current affairs. So here is the example that you can see that there were multiple questions from the RBI website and the finance current affairs, okay, in the phase 1, in the phase 2. So this component, the RBI website and the finance current affairs, this is very, very important that you cannot miss out. Now, how to cover the RBI website, that we will see, okay? So first of all, you have to go to, let's say, you are going to RBI website. You go to RBI website. So you will just have to type the RBI website and you can go to the RBI website, okay? So if you go to RBI website, this is the page that you will see first, okay? So are you all able to see and hear clearly? Give me a thumbs up if everything is fine till now. Okay, do I need to increase the brightness or you are able to see the page? I hope you are able to see the page. If there is a need to increase the brightness, do tell me that, okay? Okay. So here you can see that this is the home page, or this is the page. Here first in the home section, you can see the recent decisions that have been taken by the Reserve Bank of India, and this is usually the culmination of the notifications, like it includes notification, press releases, speeches, and so and so. Now the important components, you can see there are so many components, but the important components here are the notifications and the press releases. Let's start with the press releases. Let's say you have started your preparation from the April month and you want to cover the press releases of April month. So you will go to this section, okay, that is 2025, you will go to April month, okay? So you will get the press releases of the April month. Now you will say there are so many press releases, it is more than 50 we can say. So should we cover all the press releases? So let me tell you that you can see money market operation on 28, 29, 30. So the regular operations of the Reserve Bank of India, the RBI also informs about the regular operations of the Reserve Bank of India. So these regular operations or these regular press releases you do not have to cover. The daily press releases we can say you do not have to cover. So money market operations, no need. RBI announces open market operation purchase. So this is the daily operation of the Reserve Bank of India. Daily variable repo rate, RBI announces, you can see RBI keeps on announcing the open market operation purchase or sale. So withdrawal of 2000 denomination banknotes, this has been happening since past year. Okay, RBI celebrates the completion of its 90th year. So this you can cover. Okay, RBI has completed the 90th year. So RBI is celebrating it. If there is any point, you can see it. Okay, other than that, you can see just 5-6 RBI press releases, not important. Indicative calendar of market borrowing. So calendar you cannot remember, so much of the data you cannot remember. Auction of state government securities, no need. So these are the daily operations. Now on 2nd April, you can see there are so many of the daily operations that the RBI has notified about, the RBI has released the press release about. There is not a single one that you have to cover. Okay, so you can see that most of the press releases, they are the press releases that the RBI releases on the daily basis, and they are telling you about the daily operation of the Reserve Bank of India. So such press releases you do not have to cover. Okay, so here also, can you tell me, is there any press release that you have to cover? No, there is no requirement to cover any of this press release again, because they are the daily operation of the Reserve Bank of India. Now rate of interest is decided on the Government of India floating rate bond of 2028. Now remember that the floating rate bonds of the Government of India, they also keep on coming. So if before the examination there is any floating rate bond that is being discussed about, that you can read about, but right now it is not very important. Okay, next is, again here you can see there is all the regular operations that the RBI is doing. Only this is new, that RBI has launched the verified WhatsApp channel for the public awareness. So this you will have to cover. Other than that, there is no new notification here also. So this is the idea, that if the RBI is talking about its daily operations, that you cannot cover because it will be too much for you, and that is also not required from the examination point of view. You only have to cover the press releases that are talking about something new, that are talking about something important. Okay, so here you can see that monetary policy statement 2025-26. So monetary policy statement is important. Statement on developmental and regulatory policy document, this is important, so that you will be covering. So out of the 15 to 20 RBI press releases that we have seen, only 2 or 3 are the ones that you need to cover. So this is the idea, that if you see the press releases and you see that okay, there are so many press releases, do not worry about it, because you only have to do the limited ones. Okay, in the press releases, because most of the press releases are the daily operations of the Reserve Bank of India. So here also you can see that most of the press releases are the daily operation of the Reserve Bank of India. Only this LCR1, liquidity coverage ratio, there is the amendment that has happened. So this is something new that you will cover. Okay, so this is the idea. I hope this is very much clear now. Any confusion anyone has? Now in this, can you tell me that would you cover any of these? Is there any requirement to cover any of these? Just see it and just tell me that is there any requirement to cover any of these? This is the question for you. Let's see how many of you know that what you have to cover from the examination point of view and what you should not be. Is there any requirement to cover any of these? So actually there is no requirement to cover any of these. First of all, the Rural Consumer Confidence Survey, they are conducted every 2 months. The Urban Consumer Confidence Survey, they are conducted every 2 months. So you can understand that in just after a month, there will be the results that will be released. So that you will need to cover. It is just launching the surveys. Okay. If you want to know about the surveys, you can read, but there is no need to focus on the data points and such. When the results are released, that also before the examination, that only you will have to cover. Okay. Other than that, there is just the common press releases. Okay. So this is the idea. Okay. Now, if we talk about the draft regulations, so actually the draft regulations, if there is any draft regulation that is coming up, so that you will have to cover. But right now, what I will suggest you, let's say that there is a draft regulation that is released. Okay, there is a draft regulation that is released. Now, from draft regulation also, if it is a very important draft regulation, from that also a question can come. But I will suggest you that for now you can leave the draft regulations, because the final regulations might be released within a month or within 2 months. Okay, so before the examination, maybe the final regulations will be released, and from the final regulations, then the question will come. So it will only waste your time to do the draft regulations. So for now, leave the draft regulations, like mark them yellow or mark them red, so that you know that, okay, these are the draft regulations. I will have to cover them near the examination if the final regulations are not released. Okay, but if the final regulations are released before the examination, that you can cover. So for now, I will suggest you that do not focus on the draft regulations, because you still have 1 or 2 months. So if the final regulation comes, that you can cover, or before the examination, then you can just briefly cover the draft regulations of the previous 2-3 months. Okay, understanding the point? Or if there is any confusion, kindly ask me. Okay. So this was regarding the press releases. I hope this is very much clear that what you have to cover and what you should be leaving. The daily operations, the daily functioning of the Reserve Bank of India, you can skip that, because the questions will come from the unique details that the RBI is releasing in the press releases. Okay. Now coming to the notification section. So if we come to the notification section, again we will go to the April month, because that was the previous month. So you will see that in April month, on 1st April, there are multiple circulars that are released, and each circular will be 10 to 15 pages. So if you see 25 circulars, 10 to 15 pages or more than that, so it will be 300 to 400 pages that you will have to cover, and that much you cannot remember first of all, and it will be very, very complicated. So these circulars, they are usually released for the banks, that they have to follow these circulars in the future also. Okay, so these are not the new circulars, they are the old circulars or old master actions or old directions that are just RBI's re-informing the banks. But here you can see that there is a notification, there is a direction, that master action, this is released in 2025. So this you can cover, because this is the new one, the rest are the older ones that have been re-informed by the RBI to the banks. Okay, so this is the new one only, the rest are the previous directions that the RBI has just re-informed, that's it. Okay, so the new ones. So whenever you are covering the master action, always remember that you have to cover the new master actions that are released for the first time in the current year, or they are the master actions or master circulars in which there is a change that has happened. Okay, so this is the idea. Now coming to the limits for investment in debt and sale of credit default swap. So this is also important. See, notifications are mostly important. Most of the notification, like in the press releases, you have to see that which press releases are important. In the notifications, you have to see that which notifications are not important, because mostly the notifications are very limited and they are also very important. Okay, so here this limits, we have already done this limits in our session also, and the limits you need to know that for the state government securities, for the government securities, for the central government securities, what are the limits, so that you must know about. So this were the limits that we have already covered in the session. Then coming to the withdrawal of circulars, so this is not required, just it is told that which circulars are withdrawal. So of course you cannot remember all of this, neither is it required, so this is not required. Next is liquidity adjustment facility change in rate. So you remember, I hope you remember that there were the change in rates that were announced in the monetary policy statement, that okay, the repo rate has been decreased by 0.25%, and with that MSF rate, bank rate, these were also decreased. Okay, so this is regarding that the liquidity adjustment facility has changed, the change in rates has happened, the MSF rate has decreased, the repo rate has decreased and such. So here you can see that the rates were announced, that okay, in the LAF, in the liquidity adjustment facility, the SDF rate, the MSF rate, they have changed. SDF rate has decreased to 5.75% and the MSF rate has decreased to 6.25%. So again, we have discussed this in your monetary policy statement session. Okay, so these are the related articles, that see, standing liquidity facility for our primary dealers, the rate for the standing liquidity facility for primary dealers is the rate at repo rate. So if repo rate is decreased, the standing liquidity facility rate is also decreased. So that was the whole idea regarding this. Okay, so primary dealers can take the loan under the standing liquidity facility from the Reserve Bank of India at the repo rate. If the repo rate is 6%, now the SDF rate is also 6%. That's it. So these are the notifications that are important, but just one-liners they are. Now, reorganization of districts in the state of Rajasthan, not very important. Basically, you need to know about the lead bank scheme, that's it, okay? The LCR, we have covered this. The Basel III framework, the review, we have discussed this. Next, circular, the amendments, the compounding of contravention, all of these we have discussed. Bharat Mart, just a basic idea you need to have here, just a very small notification, okay? This we will cover in the coming sessions, or this we will cover in the revision session directly. The important and the big ones, you can see the big ones, the master action of the compounding of contravention, the master action on the framework for incentives, all of this we have already covered. So in the notifications, you will see that most of the notifications have been covered in the Finance 360-degree session, and I hope you know that notifications, they are important. You have to cover the notifications, but there are a few notifications like the reorganization of districts or the withdrawal of circulars. These kind of notifications you can leave, okay? So I hope you get the idea that which notifications or which press releases you will have to cover and which you will have to leave. Next is speeches and media interaction. You can read the speeches, because in the speeches usually the governor or the deputy governor, they give their ideas that what they perceive that where the economy is going. So if you want to read the editorials, that you can read. If you want to read the speeches, that you can read. It might not help directly, but it will help you indirectly in writing good answers and in using better frame of your sentences, okay? Publications, again, in the publications, mainly the reports are important, like the financial stability report, that is a half-yearly report, the report on currency and finance, report on trend and progress. All these reports are important, that is mentioned in the publication section. So these are the important areas: notifications, press releases, and the publication. In the publications, do the important reports, the annual and the biannual, okay? This is it. Now coming back to the PPT. So I hope you know now that RBI website and finance current affairs are important. So RBI website, you have seen that in the RBI website, what you have to cover? In the RBI website, you have to cover, in the RBI website, you have to cover the RBI notifications, the RBI press releases, and you have to cover the publications. That is the reports, we can say, the reports, okay? In the RBI notifications, the master action, if the master actions or the master circulars are mentioned, so those master actions and master circulars you have to focus on. First of all, that are newly released, they are the new master action or master circulars that are for the first time released in the 2025, or there is a change that has happened, then you will have to cover these master actions or master circulars, okay? So this is regarding the notification. Most of the notifications, you have to remember that most of the notifications are important, okay? There are very few that are not important. In the press releases, you have to find the important press releases. They are usually the decision that has been taken, or RBI has released something for the first time, or RBI has done a new thing, so that is mentioned in the press release, like the monetary policy statement, statement on developmental and regulatory policy document. So these are the documents that are released in the press release. The amendments, if there is any amendment, that is also released in press release. So the important ones only you have to cover, and that you have to select, okay? Next, publication or report. So publication or reports that are mentioned in the syllabus, as well as the reports that are released for the first time, they are the yearly reports or biannual reports, so that you have to cover, okay? So this is the idea. Now I will tell you that how much we cover in the Finance 360-degree session. Wait for it. First, understand the important ideas, okay? So in the RBI website, you have to cover the RBI notification and RBI press release. There are reports also that you will have to cover, okay? Months, so RBI notification and RBI press release, minimum 5 to 6 months you will have to cover, okay? So minimum 5 to 6 months preceding the examination, that much you should be covering. For the finance current affairs, now coming to the finance current affairs. So in the finance current affairs, you can either follow business standard or you can follow the economic times. Any one of these you can follow. Remember that which finance current affairs should you be focusing on? You should focus on such finance current affairs that are affecting the whole of the economy, or they are the finance current affairs that is related to the SEBI, IRDI, these finance current affairs that is affecting the whole of the economy, or they are somehow related to the Reserve Bank of India. So in the phase 2 of the RBI grade B, there were 3 to 4 questions that came from the SEBI topic, that came from the SEBI news articles. So 3-4 questions came from the SEBI notification or from the SEBI news article, because it was related to the UPI system, and one additional question came from the SEBI news because it was related to a new thing that the SEBI has launched and it was affecting the whole of the country. So such finance current affairs you should be focusing on that are related to the regulatory bodies like the SEBI, IRDI and such, that is affecting the whole of the economy, or they are linked with the systems that RBI focuses on, like the UPI, RTGS, NEFT and such. Okay, so this is the idea. So finance current affairs you can cover from these areas, either from Business Standard or from the Economic Times, and those finance current affairs you have to focus on which are affecting the whole of the economy or they are related to RBI somehow, as well as just the basic idea in the finance current affairs. That's it, that is required. So months, minimum 3 to 4 months of finance current affairs you should be covering. Okay, so this is the idea. Now I will take the queries. Okay, for descriptive writing, very good question. So I have got a question from Guru Raja that for descriptive writing, what kind of questions should we attempt or what kind of questions can come and such and such. So for descriptive answer writing, we have launched, EduTap has launched Perspective 360-degree series, where Jaskaran sir takes the sessions and he tells you the art of writing the answer, what kind of questions can come from Union Budget, Economic Survey. He has taken multiple sessions from different reports, from different articles. He has taken multiple sessions that what kind of questions come and how you have to answer the questions, what is the strategy or what is the format to write the answers. He also give the homework questions in the sessions, so that you can answer in the comment section of the session, and then the answers are also evaluated. Okay, and these sessions are conducted on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. So for descriptive answer writing, all the questions, all the queries, all the problems that you have, you can write in the comment section of the Perspective 360. Jaskaran sir will be helping you out. Okay. So digital payment index, there was only one recent report that was released now. Now, is Finance 360 enough for finance current affairs? First of all, see, in the Finance 360 degree, what we cover? What do we cover? We cover the RBI website, the RBI notifications, RBI press releases, the RBI reports and such, as well as we cover the finance current affairs. The finance current affairs, okay, that is the SEBI articles, IRDI articles and such that are relevant from the whole of the economy perspective, or they are relevant in relation to the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, now in the Finance 360, do we cover everything? So I will say that we do not cover everything. Okay, if you are talking about 100% of RBI website, 100% of finance current affairs, no, we do not cover 100%. But I can say that we cover like 80 to 90% of the RBI website. Most of the RBI website is covered in the Finance 360-degree sessions. That you also have seen that from the April notifications, most of the notifications were already covered in the session. So out of like 80 to 90% of the RBI website is covered in the Finance 360. In the finance current affairs, usually finance current affairs, around 50 to 60% is covered in Finance 360 degree. Why not 80%? Why not 90%? Because usually the topics are very, very small that they are not taken in the Finance 360-degree session. So from where you can cover the small topics of the finance current affairs. So for that, we bring the monthly revision session. There is monthly revision session that is conducted every Thursday. Okay, every Thursday the monthly revision sessions are conducted. So for the schemes, for the reports, for the RBI website, for the current affairs. Okay, so in the monthly revision session of Thursday, the RBI website, so nearly 99% or nearly like most of the RBI website for the month is covered in the monthly revision session. Similarly, in the current affairs session, there is the GA current affairs, there is the ESI current affairs, there is the finance current affairs session, like under the current affairs session, under the current affairs monthly revision session that is conducted every Thursday. So there is the current affairs, under the current affairs, finance current affairs monthly revision also happens. So through the question format, the finance current affairs are mostly covered to 80 to 90%. Okay, so this is the idea that the most relevant difficult topics are picked in the finance 360-degree sessions. The smaller topics as well as the big topics that are already covered in finance 360 plus the small topics that are usually left in the finance 360, we cover that in the monthly revision session through the question format, so that you can get the practice also as well as you can see that what small topics came. I hope this is clear now. So finance 360, it is important to understand the most relevant, most important topics, to understand the topics from the descriptive point of view also, what points you can write in the questions if a descriptive question comes. But when we talk about the small, very small topics, one-liner questions or one-liner topics, that usually are covered in the monthly revision session. One-liners like you have seen in the case of standing liquidity facility, just that. Okay. Are your finance 360-degree sessions useful for finance current affair for NABARD? If you are only focusing on finance current affair, then I will suggest you to see monthly revision session, because finance 360, it covers the RBI website also. Okay. Yes, we can say that in finance and management, the management is totally static. The management is totally static. There is no current affairs in management, right? Or rarely. Mostly it is 100% static. Okay, in the finance section usually it is 50-50%, that 50% is static, 50% is current affairs, or it can be 70 to 30%, 70% is static, 30% is current affairs. Okay, so usually in the finance section there is current affairs. Okay, RK, that how much you can remember. So see, if you do not want to remember everything, just remember the most important points, because in descriptive answer writing, see, let me give you an example that, okay, I have told you the enabling framework for the regulatory sandbox. Now, I think that you cannot remember everything, right? But out of the 100 or out of the 20 points that I've given you, let's say that you remember 10 points. Now, these 10 points are enough to write a good answer about the enabling framework for the regulatory sandbox. You can define the regulatory sandbox. You can tell that since when it was launched, or which committee has recommended this regulatory sandbox, and then you can give the additional points that, okay, how the process happens. Maybe you do not remember all the steps, but you remember the overall flow, so that you can write. So it's not important that you are remembering all the 20 points, but at least 10 points should be remembered from the descriptive answer point of view. For the objective, just the data points, the features, these are important. Okay. You are talking about digital payment index, so it is released every 6 months. So it was recently released in March, I guess. March. Yes, March. See, in March 2025 or in June. It will be released in June, I guess. So see, whenever the recent digital payment, first of all, digital payment index is released every 6 months. Okay. So whenever the new digital payment index is released, I will bring that for you. Do not worry about it. The last one was released in January, I guess. Yes. Yes, Mukund, do not worry about it. We are, see, for now, we are in March. We are in the May month, we are doing the revision sessions of March. But we have thought to speed run it, means that we will be taking down one of the session. That will be the mock test, will not be done. So we will be going forward with the faster rate. Okay. So you do not have to worry about it. If there is any revision month is left, so we will do it in the, let's say we will take 2 sessions in a week then, or 3 sessions in a week, so that you do not have to worry about it. Okay. Yes. So remember that the RBI website, you have to go to the RBI website, or you have to go to the newspaper if you do not have a course. If you have a course, the organization, the institution will be providing you with the PDFs that you can focus on. Okay, this is for the students that do not have any course and they are going to the RBI website or they are going to the newspapers. So for them I have given the suggestion. I will suggest that if like you can start from March, you can start from April, but let's say that you have not studied the previous session, so at least start from April, okay? Then you can go back to the March if you find the time. So first start from the April, like schemes, reports, not only RBI notifications, but schemes, reports are also very important. So schemes, reports, RBI notifications, RBI press releases, the current affairs. So like the ESI current affairs, finance current affairs, 3 to 4 months is enough. So like minimum this much is fine. So these schemes, reports, RBI website, this you can do from April, but once the April month is done, then you can go back to March, or in the case of schemes and reports, if you want to go back further, that you can go. But for RBI notifications, RBI press releases, I will say that start from April, then if you have time, then go back to the March. Saurav, for the static, you will have to see the session of Jalaj sir or Anchal sir. They have told you different books for finance or management. For the ESI, just like see the syllabus. For the ESI, you can see the syllabus. So measurement of growth, only the basics of the measurement of growth you have to cover, only the basics of the different topics you have to cover, because the static questions in the ESI, the static is only 10 to 20%, around 10 to 20% only, the ESI static, okay? And that also the descriptive questions are broad based. That means the questions are quite broad. If monetary policy, the question is coming from monetary policy, the tools were asked. So you can write any of the tools. Last year the question came from sustainable development, a very basic question. So in ESI the descriptive questions are usually broad based. So even if you have the basic understanding, that you can do. So you can use the book of Ramesh Singh for getting the basic understanding, okay, if you do not have any course. SEBI related notification, I have told you that SEBI related news articles are important. That is a part of finance current affairs, okay. So SEBI related news articles, they are important. They are under the finance current affairs section. Now finance current affairs is covered in finance 360 degree, as well as finance current affairs are also covered in monthly revision session, okay. So yes, the SEBI news articles, the SEBI website, you do not have to cover, only the news articles of the SEBI that are in news that you have to cover, because either they are affecting the whole of the economy or they are related to the RBI, okay. Any other question anyone has? I will just wait for 1 more minute and then I will be closing this session. So this is it. I think that most of the questions have been answered. If you still have any question, you can write in the comment section below and I will try to answer your questions, okay. Now I cannot see any further questions. So let's finish the session. So do subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you continue getting the relevant videos. Do join our Telegram channel where you get the PDF of the sessions, okay. So the content sessions that I take, the sessions that I take where we are discussing about the notification, press releases, finance current affairs. So for those PDF, you can join the Telegram channel and usually within 24 hours, the PDF is uploaded in the Telegram channel. So this is it. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining the session. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I usually take such kind of sessions every 2-3 months so that I can interact with you all and can cater to your questions. So I hope many of your questions were covered. And if you want to start the RBI notification, RBI press releases, you can start from January, you can start from February. But for the students that have not covered the RBI notification, RBI press releases till now, for the students that are just starting, for those I am asking to start from March or April, okay. So for the students that have been preparing for a long time, you can start, like if you have prepared for Jan and Feb, that is very good. But for the new students that like have very limited time, for them I am asking that at least start from March and April, okay. So if you are an older student, it is safe to like have covered the Jan and Feb, very good. But for the new students that are just starting, for them at least start from March and April. Do not take too much pressure because most of the questions come from the recent 5 to 6 months, okay. So this is the idea. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining this session. See you in the next session.